so excited. I'm finally back on YouTube. We're just gonna get right into it, but before we get into it, we're gonna take a sip of our coffee because why not? This is the classic cola kind. I love Poppy. It's a great alternative for soda. This is not an ad, but hopefully soon. But anyways, let's hop right up. My name is Cellina and I make lifestyle content and I do chit chats. So, how I got into teaching, it was very abrupt, very out of the ordinary. So I was still working at Kroger at the time, right? And while I was working at Kroger, I was applying to jobs left to right. I was like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of pushing the cart. I'm tired. So I went online. I went to the interview. Long story short, I got the job. I was blindsided, y'all, because why am I selling AT&T to businesses door to door? I was like, this is insane. I'm too cute for this. I was like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm thinking I'm finna work for social media. No, it was a scam, y'all. Got let go in a week. Yeah, I had no job. I had no money. The only money I had coming in was from Kroger. It was like that last paycheck that they give you. I think it lasted for like maybe a month or 2 weeks because I still had to pay bills. Bills don't stop when you don't have a job. So I ended up not having a job for like 3 months. When I got let go, actually I said, hey, like I sent in my resume. Is there anything like, you know, what's going on with that? So that's how I kind of got into the school system. I remember giving my resume maybe like a month ago, but I was still working at Kroger. I just did it just to do it. People kept telling me, oh, you should
be a subject teacher. Oh, you should be a teacher because you're so creative. You love kids. Yada yada. And I'm like,
I don't want to do that. That's not what I went to school for.
like, yes, teaching is in the communication sector, all that stuff, but that's not what I wanted to do. I don't have an education degree. Like, that's not what I signed up for. But anyways, I was Ubering. I was like Ubering, like Uber Eats, DoorDash, that's the type of stuff. That did not last long because you don't get a lot of money unless you do a lot of jobs, and in order to do that you need gas, and I was pretty much stuck in the house. Like, you need gas to DoorDash and you need DoorDash to have gas, and it wasn't just adding up. I was like, okay, yeah, no, I can't do this. I got accepted into substitute teaching and I started at this school. I'm probably like 20 minutes away from my house, and the lady that I was subbing for, she was on maternity leave. So her thing was that she was going to be on maternity leave after the first week of school. Y'all, that lady went into labor, I want to say like the second week of training. That lady went into labor the second week of training. So I'm thinking I'm gonna like see her learning style, how she teaches these kids. No, she went into labor. They had to induce her labor. So I like literally the first week of school, kids coming in, I did all of that. I didn't have room to I really didn't have room to breathe. I didn't really have room to breathe. And what I mean by breathe is feel of everything. Her classroom was all set up, obviously. Like, I'm going into the gate teaching as a substitute teacher. I feel like I was set up in a good way because normally substitute teachers come in the middle of the year. You know, like subs, oh, they just watch your class. No, I was put to work, grading papers, I was inputting grades, I was teaching math, a subject that I hated in school, a subject that I was not even familiar with in school because I could never grasp the concept. If you went to college, you know how hard statistics was. I took statistics 3 times before I passed it, or maybe it was 2 times. That don't matter. Math was not my strong suit. So I'm teaching these little babies, you know, 1st grade math. They don't know me. They think, you know, their teacher is gonna be here. But for 3 months, I was their teacher. For 3 months, I took them to recess. For 3 months, I took them to lunch. For 3 months, we did transitions. For 3 months, I grew. I grew into a leader. I grew into a person that knew how to manage a classroom. I grew into a person that knew how to conduct little ones for more than 5 hours. So I did that for 3 months. Then after that, I subbed at the same school. I just went wherever they needed me. If they needed a teacher to hold down the classroom, I was there. So I was pretty much doing the same thing. I even had arrival duty and dismissal duty. Like, I did everything. I was at an elementary school, so I want to say I subbed through pre-K 3 through 4th grade elementary school. So I pretty much went through all the classes, and going through all the classes helped me figure out what I didn't like, and it really helped me navigate my classroom style as far as like getting the kids to calm down or getting the kids to behave. Different levels of grades call for different levels of management, and that's what I learned too. So I learned a lot. I went to a different school, and it was different because at the first school that I went to, it was like family. You know, people knew me, they knew of me, they knew I was subbing. That I was under back at the first school was great. I had a chance to be with a group of ladies that I have adored and that I love so much. If you guys watch this, you know who you are. I love you guys so much. I am thankful for everything that you guys have taught me, guided me through, helped me through, and have really gave me an opportunity to know what it looks like to be in a healthy environment when it comes to the workplace. So like I said, you guys know who you are. I love you all so much, and I hope that we stay connected forever. After leaving that school, like I said, I went to another school, and I pretty much did the same thing, but I was more comfortable with walking into a classroom and commanding the classroom, and not to be mean, not to be ugly, but letting the kids know, like, just because I'm a substitute doesn't mean that you can just walk all over me, right? So, and it was like for 4 weeks. So I was there for 4 weeks. I was at the other school for almost a year. So we are in June. Next month on the 14th marks my official 1 year. I'm gonna mark this my 1 year because the school year is over, right? So going to this new school, I didn't know what to expect. I mostly subbed in 3rd and 4th grade. It was math. I'm like, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? Why are you putting me in these situations? 3rd and 4th graders are funny. They have a load of personality, and like, they're different from 1st graders. That's another thing. 1st graders, you know, they're very needy, but in a good way. 3rd and 4th graders are very independent, and they're funny. I ended up in another maternity leave position. I want to say the last week of school. The last week of school, I was in a kindergarten class for the entire week. And boy, when I say it was noisy every day. Different personalities, very clingy, very different. More kids were more clingier than some. The experience was lovely. I was there for their graduation, their class parties. They didn't have anything to do because it was the last week of school, so they colored, we watched movies, we had class parties. We did a whole bunch of stuff that I really enjoyed, and it was very bittersweet. Some were leaving, some were staying, and I really enjoyed having that classroom feel again. I like the idea of having my own classroom in a way. I didn't like to jump from class to class because some kids were attached to me. At my first school, the school that I taught for 3 months, the little kids that I taught for 3 months, very attached to me. From the time I left out the classroom, from the time I left to go to the last school I was at, very clingy. And they loved me. We're at the start of summer, and I am now on summer break. So I'm no longer teaching, I'm no longer in a classroom right now. I am on summer break. On my Instagram, I asked you guys for questions. The first question that I got was, what was your class size? So my class size was about, it started at, I want to say 23 kids, and then it went down to about 19 to 20 because kids were leaving. So let's just say it was at least 23 kids. So imagine you teaching first graders or being in control of first graders times 10. So like 23 kids all day, every day, all week. Like, that can be a lot. So yes, 23. The next question was, what things did you overcome your first year teaching? So like I said, I was new coming out the gate. So I think the things that I overcame was classroom management, learning how to teach and the aspects of teaching. Different kids have different learning styles. So I learned that you can't teach one simple way and think that all the kids are going to understand it. Like, I was taught. I'm also grateful that I had a great AP. If you watch this, you know who you are. She was very involved in my development. Even though I was a sub, she was very involved. I mean, I was an elite teacher position, but she could have just slacked off and just let me do anything, but she didn't. She guided me, helped me, and that's one thing that I will cherish forever. But the things that I overcame are classroom management, how to teach a classroom, and how to hold a classroom, how to command a classroom. The next question is, do you see yourself teaching long term, like 20 to 30 years? I'm gonna save the first question, but I don't really see myself teaching for 20 to 30 years because I want to have children and I want to be able to be present in my children's lives, because I definitely plan on having more than one. And if I'm at home, if I'm at a job all day and I come home to my children, I won't have any energy for them. When I was working at the school, like, I was very overstimulated. I did not want to talk to anybody and I was tired. So just imagine me having children in that environment. I don't think that's feasible. Someone asked the question, did you fear school shootings? School shootings never came across my mind, but I knew that it was a thing that would probably happen. I wasn't afraid because, like, we had those drills, but even when you do those drills, y'all, like, it really doesn't prepare you for the actual danger ahead, but did I fear school shooting? The next question was, any lessons you've learned? So the first lesson that I have learned throughout this whole entire process is that how it is at one school may not be how it is at another school. A lot of schools are different. A lot of schools run their day differently, and it's okay for things to not go how you planned it, right? At my first school, it was very family oriented, right? And so my fear was going to another school that wasn't family oriented, or didn't, want me to succeed. I know that sounds crazy, but whether you're in retail or whether you're in teaching, there's always competition. And so I had to realize that, and that's something that I learned real quick. And that is something that I hope that not YouTube anymore. I learned my lesson real quick with that. The lessons that I learned was that, y'all, I walked in there with no type of teaching experience. None. Teaching is different from retail, right? Retail, you have a set schedule. You know what it is when you walk in there. With teaching, you don't know what it is when you walk in those doors. One day may be different than the other, and that's another thing. I had to adapt to every change that would happen every second and every minute with those kids. Okay? The other thing that I learned is, I don't know if y'all can see. Oh, yeah. Can y'all see? I learned this real quick, too. Look at
me. Never run after or never try to contain a child that does not want to be contained.
Because this was the result, okay? This was the result. It's never going away. It's never going away. If you have any suggestions for that, if you know, please let me know, because it's ugly. One of the children, she was trying to run away from me, and while grabbing her, she happened to trip over me, and I fell and I skidded across the cafeteria floor, and I got this big burn on my arm, and it hurt for days. I had to wear long sleeve shirts because it looked like somebody burned me, when in reality the floor did burn me. But yeah, the floor burned me. So that's one thing. Do not try to run after no child that don't want to be ran after. The next question is, what's been the hardest part about adjusting? The hardest part about adjusting would be, like I said before, the different type of ways things could happen, like in a day. For 30 minutes, your class could be fine, and then in 5 minutes, somebody could be talking about somebody's mama, right? And then a fight breaks out, and then a little kid tells you, "Don't touch me," right? So adjusting with the different type of personalities, your days are not going to be the same. Your days are going to be different. Yeah, so adjusting to the different types of changes that may happen every day. Okay. Another question was, were you nervous you wouldn't fit in with the other teachers? Yes. And I say that because I'm very shy. I'm an introvert, and if I don't know you, or if I know that you're already like in your group and you're already good with those type of people, I'm not gonna jump in right away and talk and like interact, but I'm so glad that I did not have any negative situations with my first school that I was at. Like I said, those women are wonderful. Like I said before, thank you so much for bringing me in and embracing me as your own, even though I was fresh out the gate. I was like fresh meat. I felt like I was fresh meat, you know. They were already in the game. They were like OGs, right? So I'm coming in like fresh meat. So I was so happy that I was able to experience a group of women that I kind of peeped that they knew that I was nervous, but that didn't let them stop interacting with me, and like just that it was like a family. And yes, I was nervous, but as I got to know them and they got to know me and we had different outings outside of school, that shell started to break and I was really like interactive with them. I love those girls. So the last question was, any pros and cons tips you would give a teacher for the first year, your takeaways from the year. So the pros and tips I would give is like, don't assume anything with a child. As a leader, you know, we may think that we know a child right out the gate, or we may know what's best for the child because I'm a teacher. Honey, these kids will teach you and they will let you know. And don't have tunnel vision when it comes to these kids. A lot of these kids are different. A lot of kids are in certain situations, and not one size fits all. So you have to, I would say, don't have tunnel vision. Get to know your kids. You know, get to know your kids and know what their learning styles are, and love on them. Love on those kids. Don't be mean to those kids. Have structure, right? Have structure, and know that you are there. I know this sounds crazy, but you are like a parent to them, especially when it comes to the little ones. You were like a parent to them. So if you are not ready to have that nature, little ones, then don't work with the little ones. I was able to work with autistic children after my kids' teacher came back from maternity leave. That was an experience, not because they were like bad or they were just out of control. It's a different level of teaching and a different level of care. All autistic kids are not on the same spectrum. You have some high, you have some lows, you have some mediums. So that was a great experience. Shout out to the special ed team at first school that I went to. If you watch this, you know who you are. They were great. I didn't feel isolated. Helped me with a lot. Being with autistic children was a joy of mine, to be honest. So that was a takeaway. It was a joy of mine. I loved it. I loved seeing them light up with different things. You know, we had some challenges, some behavioral issues, but that comes with the territory. As long as you know how to de-escalate, as long as you know how to talk to them, you'll be okay, you'll be fine. So that was the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for those who sent questions. I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for me so that I could stay consistent on YouTube, I really appreciate it, because this was fun, y'all. This was really fun, and I enjoyed talking about something that I could talk about, right? So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions to them for you. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. See y'all later.